So you've just seen what's called an Indexed Universal Life Contract, or IUL. And if you've seen the numbers and the income that's being generated, you're probably thinking that this just looks too good to be true. I understand completely why you would think that. There are several reasons why Indexed Universal Life Contracts look so good on paper. One of the most important reasons is called annual reset. If you can understand annual reset, you can understand a huge reason why IUL policies look so incredibly attractive. When talking about the annual reset feature, it's also important to discuss the caps of the product. And when thinking about caps, you might think to yourself, now why in the world would I want to cap my upside? Take a look at this graph. It shows the years from 1990 to 1999, and watch what happens between the S&P and three different IUL products. One has a 13% cap, that's the orange line. One has a 12% cap, that's the gray line. And one has an 11% cap, that's the yellow line. They're all starting from the same place, and year over year, you'll start to see them kind of spread out based on the actual returns year over year. Now, when growth is relatively small, you'll notice that all the lines stick together very closely. When the S&P has a huge return, like you might see from 1995 to 1996, and then again from 96 to 97, and then again from 97 to 1998, you'll notice that the widening between the lines gets substantial. And this is why most people don't like the idea of capping their upside, because they look at these years and they say, why in the world would I want less money when I can have more money if I invest in the S&P? And looking at this graph, you'd probably come to the exact same conclusion. What you'll notice though is the years between 1990 and 1999 have virtually no market volatility. Now, market volatility is when the stock market is going up and down. You're making money and you're losing money. So let's take a look at what that looks like on the graph when we look at some years that have some market volatility. We're gonna pick up right where we left off, which was 1999 and 2000. So you'll notice that we start with the S&P, the blue line, way up around $1,500. Our indexed ULs with the 13, 12, and 11% cap are still down below 1,000. But look at what happens between 2000 and 2002. As the S&P sharply declines, you lose no money in your index policy. Why? Because that's what the cap is allowing you to do. It's allowing you to enter a floor. The floor is 0%. When the market goes down, you don't lose any money. The trade-off for not losing money is they cap your upside at some number. Between 2000 and 2003, you're loving your Indexed Universal Life Insurance policy, and you are so thankful that you bought one. But then again, market volatility enters into the equation, and the stock market starts booming between 2003 and 2007, and you're probably left feeling again like, man, why did I buy this Indexed Universal Life contract? For most people that buy an Indexed Universal Life contract, the goal is not necessarily to accumulate as much money as possible. The goal is to accumulate money at a fairly substantial rate, but to make sure that you don't lose that money. This policy can be a huge help for your retirement distributions. And in order for you to be secure in your retirement, you need to make sure that market losses don't negatively impact your income more than it needs to. By eliminating losses in the market, it actually gives you a chance for sustainable income for the rest of your life. Let's take a look at our last example between 2008 and now the end of 2016. You know what happened in 2008. It's a continuation of one of the worst years in the last 50 years of the stock market. Again, what you'll notice is that your three indexed UL policies, no matter what the cap is, stay level even when the market drops substantially by 30 or 40%. The second part about annual reset that we haven't talked about yet is every year your starting and ending value resets. It's the reset part of annual reset. By looking at this graph, you'll see that the starting value for the 2009 year for your indexed UL policies is going to be just below 950. What that means is, as long as the S&P ends above 950, you're going to capture all that growth up to your cap. And here's exactly what that looks like. You'll notice if you were fully invested in the S&P, you're still not back up to your high water mark of 1500. Again, in 2010, there's more rebound that all three of your IUL policies are going to capture. When the market's flat with the S&P, your IUL policies are also flat. When the market goes up, your IUL policies go up. When the market goes up higher than your cap, your IUL policies cap out. And that trend continues through 2016. When you take a step back and look at the big picture, you can see that by implementing an annual reset feature in your Index Universal Life contract, you can get sustainable growth and sustainable income for the rest of your life because you're never going to experience a market loss. Furthermore, if you would have purchased an Index Universal Life contract back in 1990 and you maintained a 13% cap, which is available in the marketplace, you'd actually have more money than the S&P as of 2016. Not only can you completely avoid market losses, but given the right market conditions, you actually have an opportunity to outperform the S&P. If you're tired of riding the ups and downs of the market, an Index Universal Life policy with an annual reset feature can be a great solution.